How's it going, you guys? So in this video, I want to talk about how to overcome procrastination and get the things done that you know you need to do, or get things done that you want to do that you know will catapult you forward towards your goals. So at a baseline, there's generally two main forms of procrastination. There's procrastination due to just a lack of action towards the steps you need to take to actually get your goal done. Like, for example, cleaning the house. Generally speaking, that just requires you to take action. Making a YouTube video. Like, if you have been telling yourself, like, oh, you know, like, I want to be a YouTube star, blah, 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 and you just need to start making videos. That literally is just taking the plunge and getting started and just recording those videos and creating momentum. Or it could be, you know, I need to shave my beard. Like, all of those are very simple cases of just take the first step and roll with it. You know, just build momentum, just get it done, okay? Now there's another main form of procrastination that has a different cause. And this is stress-induced procrastination. Now, obviously, a lot of people might think, oh, trying to clean the house, you know, like, I'm procrastinating because it's so stressful. But see, that's actually different. That's actually not, you're not procrastinating because you're stressed out. Sure, that might play a role. You're trying to avoid it because you want to, you know, it takes too much effort to clean the house, and it's a lot more pleasurable to scroll through Instagram or YouTube. That's the case, but the difference is once you start cleaning the house, the stress goes away. There's another type of procrastination where, for example, let's say you're signed up for personal training, and you have a personal training session scheduled with your personal trainer for 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. in the morning or something, right? And you're procrastinating on going to the personal training session because your personal trainer is an asshole, or he, you know, makes workouts way too hard. And you're not procrastinating simply because of a lack of action, because you have a scheduled time where the personal trainer is literally going to take you through the session, and you don't have to do anything but show up. That's usually why people sign up for personal training, to take the stress of figuring out what to do and commitment and stuff like that out of the equation. But when your personal trainer is creating a lot of anxiety and stress for you because he's just like a hard personality, or the workouts are too hard for your current skill level or something like that, or you just don't even believe that you have what it takes to overcome those challenges your personal trainer is going to give you, then you're going to procrastinate on going to the gym simply because doing the workouts and everything is so freaking stressful, and it only gets more stressful as you do it more. So you're procrastinating because the very actions it's going to take you towards that goal are extremely stressful itself, okay? That's very different from something like cleaning the house, because the further and further you go into taking action towards cleaning the house, the cleaner the house gets and the less and less stressful it becomes. The stress starts to evaporate as the house gets cleaner. The same thing with, like, writing a book, for example. One of my really awesome clients, she actually just released her first book. And it's like the hardest part about writing your first book is just getting started. It's just starting to write the words and get the ideas down on paper and get that rough draft. But the more pages that you write towards your book, the less and less stressful it becomes. And in fact, the easier and easier it gets because you get into a flow state, right? The same thing with, like, recording a video for YouTube. If you have a goal of, like, you know, becoming a YouTuber or whatever it is, just recording these videos and gaining the momentum and practicing the skill. Like, even though your videos might suck at first, you get better and better and better, and over time it becomes natural, you know, and the stress goes away as you take action, okay? And even something like if you're going to the gym by yourself, you know, just getting into the gym, if you set your standards low, is going to remove the stress and make that habit easier. But let's say, you know, you like go into work or whatever, right? You have a job, but at your job, your manager is just like extremely toxic. They lack empathy, and they're just horrible, in your own opinion. And you just feel like you're being treated unfairly. Maybe everybody constantly disses you or something, which for me, that is never a factor because, I think generally speaking, you should do your best to avoid these types of work environments. And as soon as you notice that your work environment's toxic, you need to get a healthier work environment. But let's just say if that's the case, you have a toxic work environment. You're not procrastinating just because, you're having a lazy day, or you just don't feel like going to work, or you just need to, once you get to work, the stress doesn't go away. You're procrastinating because you're dreading the overwhelming stress of the situation. And like when you go to work, as you work through your day, as long as that work environment's toxic, that stress doesn't go away, and a lot of times it gets worse and worse. Not just because you're working a desk job and you're, dealing with customer service or something maybe, and you're taking phone calls from angry customers. Like, that's just part of the job and is to be expected. You should be able to handle that because that's just the job, you know what I mean? It's nothing personal. But when you have the stress of a toxic work environment and management on top of that, now that stress is so overwhelming that the procrastination problem is literally because that part of your life is not compatible with you, So, for example, I've been a personal trainer for over 7 years now. I know that if I'm coaching someone too hard and they're just not the type of, they're not the type of person to be dedicated to their diet or whatever it is, the harder that I coach them on their nutrition and stuff like that, the more anxiety it creates, the more procrastination it creates, the more resistance the client will develop as a simple result of it's just too overwhelming of a commitment for them at that moment. And so that will create the procrastination and stuff like that because the stress is too big. Whereas if you kind of are easygoing, you make things easy and fun for them, and you try to build momentum, and you try to just get them into the habit of going to the gym and stuff like that, and just maybe make small changes that are easy for them, and just very, very small, so small that they don't really notice it too much, then they don't really procrastinate, and they find it easy to get in the gym and to do things and whatnot. So, this can really go for anything. So here's another good example. So let's take the same video example, right? On one hand of things, so someone wants to be a YouTuber, all you gotta do is start creating videos. You might be procrastinating, you might be scrolling through YouTube or scrolling through Facebook or whatever it is, you're procrastinating. Maybe as a result of your social media and scrolling addiction being addictive itself. Which in that case is not necessarily that you're procrastinating from making YouTube videos, but you're actually giving into your addiction at that moment. But if you just start making YouTube videos with a healthy computer, it's easy and the stress goes away the more videos you create, because you're just getting things done. But let's say that your freaking computer, it randomly shuts down in the middle of you making YouTube videos, or it's extremely slow, or your video recording software crashes on a regular basis. Well, now it's not as easy as just once you start recording those videos, everything gets better. Now you have that added element of stress, not just stress, but catastrophic stress where you could be recording the perfect YouTube video, you got momentum and everything, and then your video just shuts down completely and all your work is gone. So again, you could be procrastinating because you know that there's stress is going to be happening as a result of taking action. Now, and granted, there's a lot of times where you're going to just have to freaking do it anyway, but it's important to understand why you're procrastinating. Are you procrastinating because you just need to take action? 9 times out of 10, you're going to something stressful. You got to get that out of the way. But on the flip side, you might be procrastinating simply because your personal trainer is not good for you or too hard for you, or you get bullied at school. so you don't want to go. Some people just don't want to go to school because it's just a bunch of mathematics and crap that they are not interested in, and they'd rather be watching Power Rangers on the TV or something. But other people get bullied in school, so they literally are trying to avoid school because they don't want to get bullied and harassed, because that's just traumatizing, you know what I mean? So, and it's interesting because so many people don't see, they're just like looking for how to get motivated and how to kill procrastination. It's like, part of it is just taking action, the other part of it is being honest with yourself about, is there a legitimate issue with the actions that I'm procrastinating against taking. So, and so in the case that something's really, stressful, like, for example, your personal trainer is an asshole, try to get a new personal trainer somehow. Do your best to do such a thing, because when you have a personal trainer that's right for you, and he makes it an enjoyable experience or whatever, gets you the results, a lot of times, whatever. So it's going to be easier when you get the personal trainer that's right for you. Or let's say your computer's crashing in the middle of making a YouTube video and that's why you're procrastinating, because it's stressful. You can't just take action with the computer that's crashing. The solution would be to just upgrade your computer and your software. Like, it makes no sense to be dreading the fact that you're procrastinating on making a video because of your computer, when it's like, just pay the, $200 to get a new computer. And I mean, $200 is enough to get you a used computer that's good enough to record new videos. People are like, I gotta buy the $800 computer. And it's like, you're setting a standard so high that you procrastinate, for a long time and never get shit done. So, and I see that part all the time, where people, they set the goalposts too high and they're like, I gotta write the perfect book or record the perfect videos, I gotta have the perfect computer to record videos, I gotta have a microphone and blah, blah, blah. And then they never fucking get anything done. And it's like years pass by and that YouTube channel that they talked about a long time ago never gets done, And the same thing goes for, like, let's say people trying to do a martial art, for example. It's very common in jiu-jitsu, which is what I'm currently training in, what I'm currently competing in. People are like, I really want to do jiu-jitsu, and they might even sign up, but then they're like, but I need to get in shape first. And so again, they're like, instead of just doing the thing they want to do, they're setting the goalpost high, and they're setting an obstacle for themselves, probably just because they're, whatever it is. This is another form of procrastination, but it's like a dishonest form of procrastination, where there's underlying real reason why they're not just doing jiu-jitsu or they're not just recording videos, but they put this obstacle in the way, like, got to get in shape first, got to lose the weight before I do the martial art, or got to get this $800 computer before I record videos, or I gotta have, everything perfect, or I gotta have the right moment of feeling inspired, rather than just getting, sitting down, writing an outline, and just like doing the rough work, even though you don't feel like it. As long as, I guess that's called pushing the goalposts, I think. As long as you keep doing that, you're never going to actually get the thing done. And interestingly, a little side tangent here, I've actually noticed this tends to be a underlying factor for a lot of people's health problems, is that a lot of times people might have health problems, and then they'll get the health problems solved, but then they still are obsessed with trying to solve health problems that they don't even have anymore. Or people just like, they think they have a health problem. They're like, oh my God, like I have, a heart attack. I'm having a heart attack, heart problems or something. But in reality, maybe they have social anxiety or something, and they are, they're investing so much in this belief that they're sick to prevent them from actually doing something that they know they need to do. So for example, social anxiety, this is a huge one where people are like they really want a good social life and they want good friendships and good relationships. But when they go into social situations, they feel really uncomfortable. Most likely because of something that happened when they were a child, or how they were raised, or or something like that, or for whatever reason they just never developed security, or never developed comfort in social situations, or never developed social skills. And if you never develop that skill, you can't expect to just jump in there and be good at it. If people don't think of social skills as skills, which is weird. So they have social anxiety, and then they just kind of mask that as, I'm an introvert, or I have anxiety, or I am just an anxious person. When in reality, they just need to start diving into social situations and developing skills and developing comfort and developing experiences that make them realize it's not really as bad as they kind of naturally feel. But unfortunately, people don't understand neuroplasticity. They think, oh, I just am the way I am, and and really this is like a label they set on the situation. Like, I am an introvert, therefore I don't do good in social situations. So they never get better. But again, that's just another obstacle they put in the way, and it's a problem that they disguise as a hero. It's not like, oh, I just need to develop the skills of social skills. It's like, no, I am an introvert. Therefore, that's just who I am, and therefore I don't need to develop anything because it can't be developed because I am an introvert. Or else, people might have heart palpitations in social situations, and so they oh, I have a heart problem, and anytime they go on so they're like, oh, I'm going to stay inside my house, and I'm going to try to figure out what's causing my heart problems, because anytime I go outside, I get heart palpitations. And they're allowing themselves to invest all their time and energy into finding the heart problem. Eventually I'll go out and make friends. Eventually I'll go out of my house. But until then, I've got to solve this health problem. And a lot of times it doesn't even exist, or it's psychosomatic, or it's just social anxiety, but they're, maybe subconsciously trying to justify their fear of social situations by doing this. And there are a lot of weird ways this can manifest. There's people out there that might be convinced that, they have, digestive problems or something, and they're deathly afraid of needing to go to the restroom in public, using public bathrooms because they were full of germs or something. I used to have that because I was literally afraid of germs. But some people, they might manifest this fear of public toilets and stuff just to justify their fear of being out in public in general. And it's really a phobia or some kind of anxiety problem or something like that. But they're telling themselves, oh no, I have a digestive illness or something, and I don't want to be out in public and then have to run in the restroom because it's embarrassing or blah, 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 or whatever. They may not even have a digestive issue, or maybe their anxiety is what's causing it. But obviously you got to live your life. This is a whole other problem that this person needs professional, all of these kind of subconscious justifications for, procrastination that I'm talking about, needs professional psychologists, not psychiatrists. That's not going to work. But a psychologist, a talk therapist who understands these things. So anyway, this is a deep dive into procrastination. Let me know down in the comments what y'all think, and I'll talk to y'all next time.